Hey everyone, I am here in, SoCal. It's a rainy day, which is kind of nice. We don't get that many rainy days. And I'm having a day where I'm having to fast. And I feel a little weird, because I like to eat my breakfast. So pardon me if I get a little, sorry if I get a little off topic or I'm unable to focus. My last upload, I did get a question in the comments from ABD Pranks 4, and they had a really good question. They said, "Can you please make one video on karma, how to balance your karma? What can someone do to move towards higher vibration?" Now, these are super good questions, and it just so happens that I have been working on an oracle deck, which is going to include a card for each step that I took to do the work that everyone always talks about. Do the work, like to raise your vibration and all that. Well, some of the cards I'm doing are are really just about knowing something, or like the knowledge, so you understand something that's important. And I had gone over my cards thus far with my favorite shaman, Michael Polson, and he suggested that I add a card for karma. So I'm going to share the artwork that I made for that particular card and some of the concepts about karma that I've learned over the years of working with Michael Shaman. Um, so in Hinduism and Buddhism, karma is the sum of actions in this life and previous lives, which transmigrates into and decides the fate of future existences. The principle of karma is linked to the universal law of cause and effect. There are 12 universal laws, which are derived from ancient wisdom and philosophy dating back to ancient Egypt, Machu Picchu, and other ancient cultures that involve science, philosophy, and religion. Universal laws are accepted in spiritual and metaphysical communities as immutable and unchanging principles that apply to all of existence and are rules for living and potentially reaching enlightenment, raising your vibration, and, reaching higher levels. The law of cause and effect states that every effect has a specific and predictable cause. Transversely, every cause or action has a specific and predictable effect. In physics, Newton's third law states that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Simply put, karma means that we cannot outrun the effects that we cause. I once believed that karma meant something very specific, an exact eye for an eye, meaning that if I did something terrible in my life, then perhaps in my next life or even in this life, I would have to be the victim of that same exact, I don't know, horrible thing. For example, like if I committed a murder, then I might have to be the victim of murder in this life or another life to, offset that karma. But Michael explained that it was more like a scale. And I've heard other people also talk about it in more terms of a scale. Like you can do more positive things that tilts the scale into a positive outcome for you, as opposed to loading up the scale on the negative side, causing more hurt and harm to others would, tilt that scale into the more negative. So from what I understand, that doesn't mean, I don't I don't think it means you can murder somebody and then save a bunch of kittens, like, and tilt that scale. But apparently karma works more in that way, as far as not being an exact eye for an eye. Okay, so one thing that I've learned is that spirits, like people who pass over and they're now, they're spirits. They may stay around on the earth plane and in the astral. They don't pass away and then all of a sudden understand the afterlife any better than we do right now. And so sometimes they kind of hang around because they're afraid to go in the light. They fear that they may have judgment and be parted down into hell, or they're afraid to be forced into a reincarnation. But from what I understand, you go into the light and you do a life review, and you are going to feel all the the interactions that you had with everyone, every feeling that you had somebody else, like they responded to you, you're going to feel it from their side. So, you're going to know if you've kind of tilted your scale towards a more positive life or a more negative life. Now, I also understand that you don't experience judgment, you judge yourself based on this life review. And if you feel that you maybe caused more negative experiences in your life, you may reflect and feel like you could have done it better. Michael says that that feeling, that karma, is something that you really want to clear up. It's not like somebody forces you to clear it up. You could decide not to, but he said that the feeling is overwhelming, that you want to do it. So one of the lessons that I learned about karma involved a healing session I had with Michael Shaman. Now, I knew that I had a death in a past life where I was cut from my shoulder to my stomach. And I've dreamt about it, where I was laying on my back in a battlefield and all that. I knew that my dad in this life was the one who cut me in that life, like we were adversaries in another life. So my dad had passed away and was in spirit, and I went to get this trauma healed that I knew about from Michael Shaman, and my dad showed up in spirit to help out with healing. Now, he didn't remember that he was the person who had cut me in the past life. Like I said, he didn't like die and know things better than he did when he was alive. But as we were talking about it, he started to remember that he was the person who cut me, and he felt really bad. So we did a session where, we forgave and healed, that event, that trauma, and released it. And my dad said after that he felt a lot lighter, like he could actually travel more places than he could before. So this is where we want to be aware of our vibration. And I'm familiar with people who, like, when they go out of body, a lot of times they go out of body at a certain level. So some people, when they go out of body, they're mostly just stay in the earth astral planes. So raising your vibration makes it so that you can easier to go higher and off planet. Some people come out and they're in the really low astral planes. So, becoming somebody who practices going out of body, you can learn how to sort of adjust your vibrations and go to higher and lower levels from practicing. But anyways, so when my dad said that he felt like he could travel to more places than he could before, Michael Shaman said that we had taken his karma from cutting me in half and turned it into dharma. So it is kind of important to understand that. And then also, I had another experience where I had the spirit of Charles Manson here at my house for about a month. He was hanging around and trying to understand karma. Now, I mean, my house is very close to Spahn Ranch, but the Manson family did live in my my guest house, which is why it was really haunted. So he had been in my house when he was alive. It's not like he just randomly came here. Anyways, he was hanging around trying to learn about karma because, as you would know, he had developed probably quite a big pile of bad karma for himself. And he had gotten pushed into the light by Michael Shaman, but he came out without doing his life review because he wanted to learn about karma better. Um, in spirit, he was helping me doing some healing for my daughter, and um, and me and my friend Micah also did a healing session for him and his family, so his family could all forgive each other and release their traumas with each other. And then we did one for his followers and victims, and he was an active participant on the other side, helping his followers and victims to heal, to help release some of that karma. So I did have that experience, and he did end up going into the light on his own. And I've not seen him around, although, I'm sure I'm talking about him, he's probably here. But anyways, once he went into the light the first time and he didn't actually do his life review and all that, he came out and he was much lighter. He wasn't as angry as he was before he went in the light. So I do know that much. Um, so my card for this oracle deck, the card about karma, is so you can understand what it is and that you cannot outrun the causes that you affect in your life. And I think that that knowledge in and of itself is an important thing to understand, that so that maybe you make better choices about how you treat others, how you treat yourself, how you treat the planet. You know what I mean? And the card is also about recognizing if you are stuck in some sort of loop or repeating pattern, that there might be a lesson for you to learn so that you can get out of that loop and, move on because you learned the lesson you needed. I included this quote that I like from Eckhart Tolle. I think that's how he says his name. But he said, life will give you whatever experience is most helpful for the evolution of your consciousness. How do you know this is the experience you need? Because this is the experience you are having at the moment. So that's what the card is about. It's about, recognizing if you are, stuck in some sort of repeating pattern. The way, your relationships are going, or things in your life that are not, you're not like super stoked about. You may find that there is a repetitious pattern happening, that there's something that you're, needing to kind of learn so that you can stop having that happen to you and move forward. The second part of the question was about moving towards higher vibration. That is what the rest of my deck is going to be about. And so I am only talking about really karma on this one, but I will say that as much as some people say like, oh, high vibration, low vibration, like this is all just love and light and hogwash and stuff, I happen to know from experience, like I had my dad and one of my best friends who passed away, and they would both visit me and hang out with me at my house. And I asked my daughter, do you think that my dad and my friend hang out together in the afterlife? And she said no, because they came out at different levels. So this is another example of how when you go out of body, what your vibration is seems to affect where you are in the different planes of the afterlife. And they don't see each other. So it is important to do the work, like all the work. So far, I think I've got about 40 cards done. I want to have kind of a 44, like I want to have a repeating number in the deck. Maybe I shouldn't do that, but I've got about 4 more cards to come up with. So I'm getting really close to being done, and also having to write the book. So some of the cards I've already written the pages for, and some of them I'm still, working on it. But it's I've been working on this for a year, that just the Oracle deck, aside from all the spirit art. And I'm just trying to make a deck so that your guides can, nudge you into some work that you need to do. A lot of people, they want to raise their vibration, and they either don't know how, or they don't want to do the work, or they don't know what the work is. And so I found that my guides were trying to suggest things to me and I wasn't recognizing it. And it took me like, I don't know, it would be like 4 times of something crossing my eye path, or somebody saying something to me like 4 times for me to go, oh, I think my guides are trying to get my attention. So I'm making this deck so that your guides can say, hey, you need to do this work in particular. So I hope that that helped about understanding the universal law of cause and effect, also known as karma. And if anyone has any questions about it, feel free to drop it in the comments and I will try to answer them. And if you've got any other concepts that you want to kind of me to say what my experiences are about, or how I believe them to be, and you all can, you know, decide if it resonates with you or not. I'm not here to start my own religion or get 1 million followers. I really am just on here to share what I'm learning and how I learned it and why I think it's important. And I'm sure that if somebody needs to see this, then it'll cross their path. All right, everyone, I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you soon.